And welcome back to Sports the NEMO Way, the wide receiver episode, where we will obviously be discussing the 5 greatest receivers in NFL history. And speaking of 5, all 5 of us are here tonight. It's been a rocky little situation here. We even had an episode with 3, our first ever one of those. So, now back to 5. Hopefully it can stay that way for a while. So, I don't think that I have any more housekeeping. So let's get started. Drew, who is your 5th greatest receiver of all time?
Calvin Johnson.
He's also mine.
He's not mine.
Not mine.
Not mine.
Drew?
I'll tell you the stats first. 6-time Pro Bowler, 4-time All-Pro. He's a member of the All-2010s team. He's in the Hall of Fame. He has 83 touchdowns, 11,000 yards, 730 catches. The thing with Calvin is it was so short. He wasn't able to total up all the totals of some of the other guys we're going to talk about tonight. He only played 9 seasons in Detroit. I think the first 2 or 3 seasons he didn't even have Stafford yet. He was on the 0-16 team. And he was still racking up big yards. When you played the Lions, you knew who you had to guard. You had to guard Calvin Johnson and get the Matthew Stafford quick, which most of the time they did when he came along. Megatron's body started to break down on him. I think we've talked about that before when we've had our What If and talking about the Lions. His career is just shorter compared to some of the other receivers that play way longer, 15, 16, 20 years, like some people. But I feel like he's still produced enough in that short span. That's over 1,000 yards a season as an average. So I don't know. And seeing him 2 times a year, whenever the Bears would play him, I saw him all the time. I was like, just guard Calvin, and we have at least a chance. There'd be times they'd lob it up to him, and he'd still catch it over 2 people. I don't know. I feel like some of these guys, I know I put him at 5, but I'd probably take him over some of the other guys I have above him just because he was that good. He was.
Well, I think if you're talking just based on skills and skill set, he's very clearly a elite guy. His numbers don't really add up with some of these other guys over his career because of his shortened career. But like you said, if you just wanted a receiver that was just really great at doing what he did, he's right there with anybody. But the way I looked at it is we fucking put Gale Sayers on a list, so apparently longevity be damned. So, 9 years is a lot more than 3.5.
Shot fired.
So,
last week, he was big mad. Not just because of Gale, because Drew went 9 for 9.
Oh, 9 for 9, huh?
Yep.
Megatron also has the most yards for a season as a receiver.
He does.
It has stayed that way even with the extra game so far.
It doesn't look like it's going to get broke unless somebody has a gigantic game.
These great receivers can't stay healthy for all 17 games. So,
yeah.
Last year we thought Justin Jefferson and him again this year and Tyreek, but they both have missed games.
Yeah, after I think it was 8 or 9 games, Tyreek was still on pace for 2,000 yards. Yeah. He's just slowed down the second half of the season, and he's missed a couple games. Yeah. 1,964 yards is a lot. That is a lot.
Of yards.
And he was getting double and triple teamed, and it didn't really matter. It didn't really matter at all.
It's not like he wasn't getting guarded.
Yeah,
it's 122 yards a game.
That's crazy.
He was 6'5", 240, and could run what, a 4.4, 4.3?
I think he ran a 4.3, didn't he? I thought he was freakishly fat. Maybe it was a 4.4.
Still, either way, that big.
He's a matchup nightmare. Yeah.
There's no corner big enough, and he's sometimes faster in corners. It's just I wouldn't want to be. You're not pressing him. It's not these small corners now. I'll tell you that.
No, he's an animal.
And he still has probably one of the dumbest calls in NFL history against him in the end zone when he caught the ball, fell down on his butt, and then set the ball down the field next to him. And they're like, he didn't complete the catch.
Wasn't it against the Bears?
I think it was against the Bears.
I think it was against the Bears. Yeah.
He didn't catch it. What do you mean?
Okay.
Yeah. Because that and the Des Bryant play weren't too
I think
crazy
you're
far
right,
apart.
dude.
That's when we didn't know what a catch was.
Yeah,
I
that's
mean,
why
sometimes
we were
I still
freaking out.
don't.
Yeah, so,
It's gotten a lot better though.
although
Like,
there for a couple of years, it was
Those
disastrous.
two,
Then there's
It was.
what was that one with that one Steelers tight end?
Oh,
Remember against the Patriots in that one game, and
Yeah. What was? I remember watching it. Now that you,
because he like took 3 steps, he fell down, he reached over, and then it fell to the ground. I said, nope, he didn't catch it.
and like they would have like won the game or
Right,
something like
they
that
would've-
if it would have happened.
Yeah.
That's another more
I mean,
Patriots
it was-
bullshit.
it was- again, I'm not trying to go down that rabbit hole for
yeah.
but yeah, I mean during that time span we didn't know what a catch was. I felt like
no,
depending on who
nobody
the referee
did.
crew
The
was.
referees didn't know what a catch
There were a
was.
lot
It
of
was
big
terrible.
plays like that affected games. That it was just a mess for a while. But anyway,
All right, well, we probably ought to move on. Wade, you got a 5 left?
yeah,
Who you got, buddy?
I got Marvin.
Yeah.
Yeah, you put me down for Marvin too.
Yep, I got Marvin on my list too.
Aw,
It killed
Dad.
me. I wanted to put Isaac Bruce there so bad, but I went with Marvin.
I appreciate it.
So just 3 of us.
I think Marvin was my 6.
So, Wade, what do you got on old Marvin Harrison?
Oh, I mean, he's one of my favorite players of all time. You know, I grew up watching him and Peyton. He was always the man. You know, him and Moss and Owens kind of ruled the NFL at the wide receiver position in the early 2000s. Yeah, I mean, over 1,100 receptions, over 14,500 yards, 128 touchdowns. I mean, just for like, I was kind of comparing him and T.O. I think T.O. played like 39 more games, and Marvin still ended up with more receptions than T.O., and Marvin averaged more yards per game than T.O. did for their careers. So yeah, I thought Marvin was a good guy to put on the list.
He had 8 Pro Bowls.
Yeah. And at one point in time, he had the record for most receptions in a season. That was just broken a couple years ago by Michael Thomas.
Yeah. Who hasn't done us anything since?
No, literally nothing.
Yeah.
I don't know why. It's one of the strangest things ever.
Doesn't have Drew Brees throw him a slant.
I guess not.
Mr.
Drew Brees
Slant.
can't throw a football anymore. Did you see that?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
I didn't see that.
It's bizarre.
Yeah, I mean, he can't throw it like his kids anymore. His arm just it's
shot.
It's,
Oh, wow.
it's gone. Yeah,
Like
his
he
arm
can't do anything.
like if someone said because someone asked him, you come out of retirement, he says I can't even throw a ball in the backyard with my kids.
Yeah.
Much less trying to come do it in the NFL. His arm's just gone.
Hmm. Well, he don't need it anymore.
It is kind of a bummer, though, not to be able to go out and play with your kids.
Yeah.
Yeah. At least do that.
Huh?
I can imagine though. It's got to hurt without throwing them.
I would assume so.
Throughout the day, like it's got to hurt just normal. If you can't
Oh,
even
yeah.
throw,
Just doing everyday things, but it's probably terrible. Like,
yeah.
So he got another arm.
It's a violent game.
What arm did he throw with?
He was right-handed, wasn't he?
Yeah, he's right-handed.
Well, he can start practicing left. He's got time.
Maybe.
All right, well, anything else on old Marvin before we move on?
Oh, I don't think so. Ray, you got anything?
Well, just one of our favorite receivers growing up.
Oh yeah, like my first Colts jersey was a Marvin Harrison jersey. I think.
Is he 88?
Uh-huh.
That's what I thought. I think I've seen you in that, and obviously in 18.
Oh yes, I'm sure there's lots of those. Because way back in the day, I got an Edgerrin James one and a Marvin one. Those are my first two, and I think Marvin was the first one. But anyway,
Was everybody out of 5s now?
No, I still got a 5.
Oh, okay. Was Marvin your 4?
No, Marvin was my 2.
I like it.
All right, well, who's your 5 then, Ray?
I went with the old fella. Probably considered a fossil. Lance Allworth.
Bambi. Yeah, I thought
Yeah.
about putting him on the list. He's pretty impressive.
I can't put anybody on my list named Bambi.
Well, I mean,
Sorry.
might call him Bambi, but he put up some pretty good numbers for an era where all they did was run the football. He had 85 touchdowns, 10,266 receiving yards, 542 receptions, one-time Super Bowl champ, one-time AFL champ, 63 Player of the Year, 7 Pro Bowls, 6 All-Pros, and he's in the Hall of Fame.
18.9 yards per catch.
In an
You
era
and
where they
yards per
didn't
catch.
throw the ball.
Yes, those numbers he put up then.
I mean, those look like receiver numbers
those
now.
are fucking amazing.
Look
right
at
back then.
1965. He put up 1,602 fucking yards in a league where they fucking didn't throw the ball.
He had 1,600 yards and 14 touchdowns in 14 games.
Yeah.
For 23 yards per reception.
Yeah.
Does that count as him winning a triple crown? Touchdown, receptions, and yards in 66?
I mean, you'd almost have to.
Yeah. I mean, that's the wide receiver triple crown, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I know, that's just crazy what he did back then.
It really
It
is.
was.
Because me and Uncle Doug, remember, you and
talked-
me liked him in the Mount Rushmore episode.
Uh-huh. We
And
did.
I think Ray had him too. Remember talking about him a lot.
I think I went to him.
I think we ended up putting him on the list.
Yeah,
I
I
think.
thought we did, yeah.
Yeah, he was an amazing receiver.
Anything to keep Sayal off.
Oh, Junior.
But yeah, I had to throw him on there, considering the years and what he put up.
It's not the
That's what
old
I
guy I thought you might go with, but
Yeah. But yeah, that's why.
I like it.
Oh, I think it's a
no,
very
yeah,
good
I'm
choice.
fine with that.
Yeah.
Not as good as Isaac Bruce.
Oh,
I didn't put him on there. I just had to mention him a couple times.
You have any Rams on your list?
Not on this one. No.
Oh,
if Isaac isn't on there, there's no other Rams. he'd have on there.
No Isaiah Rakim?
No.
No, I just wondered. Okay. All right. Well, that's all of our fives now.
yeah.
So we're looking for some fours here. Uncle Doug, you got a 4?
Yep. My number 4 is Larry Fitzgerald.
That is my number 4.
He's also mine.
He's my number 3.
He's also my number 4.
Oh, then Larry's in.
Arizona.
All right.
I think Larry's one of those guys that, like, probably because he played for the Cardinals, his career was snuck up on you.
It did.
Yeah, I mean, I knew he was good, but I didn't know he was this good.
Oh, his prime, he was insane.
When they made that Super Bowl run, I think they played the Steelers in the Super Bowl. During that Super Bowl run, he made some catches where you're just like, how did he do that?
Yeah. Well, I'm pretty sure he set records for their playoff run to the Super Bowl. I think he had like the record for most yards in a playoff run or something like that at the time.
What year did they go to the Super Bowl?
It'd have to be the one where they play 4 games. So.
2009.
Yeah. He had 30 receptions for 546 yards, 18 yards a catch, and 7 touchdowns.
And how many games?
4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, some of those.
Like you said, Drew, when you watched Calvin twice a year, I had to watch Larry twice a year.
Well, yeah.
When the Rams played the Cardinals.
Oh, my
He
favorite
was
thing about
amazing.
Larry as a receiver for how long he played, he has more tackles than he does drops.
That's
Yeah.
amazing.
As a receiver,
That's just an amazing
that's
stat.
insane.
I'll be honest. I think the only reason Larry Fitzgerald isn't in like higher regard, or like, you can make an argument Larry Fitzgerald could be maybe the second or third, greatest receiver of all time. But I just don't. I don't know. It's hard to. I lost track of my thought there, kind of for a second.
Well, I think he wasn't super visible because of where he played.
Yeah.
And other than that one year where they did make a run at the Super Bowl, his awesome seasons and awesome catches and everything didn't lead to wins usually, because he played for such a terrible franchise.
They just weren't relevant at all.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's kind of what I was.
Yeah, and that wasn't me trying to knock him. That was just, this is what happened.
He's just not thought of in the same regard as like T.O. and Randy Moss and stuff, even though I think you can kind of make the argument. And he didn't really play with a lot of... Like, he had Palmer and Warner each for a couple years, but there was a lot of years of god-awful quarterback play that he had to deal with.
Well, probably
Imagine
his
if
best ever teammate was another receiver.
Bolden?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, it was... Like, imagine, like, sub him and, like, Jerry Rice out and give Fitzgerald Montana and Young and then Gannon for 20 years, what do you think his stats look like then? Because Fitzgerald did have super good longevity.
Yeah.
What if he has MVPs and all-time greats throwing the ball for 20 years straight? What do his numbers look like? Because they're going to be better than what he already is, and he's already second all-time in receptions and yards.
So let me ask you this. Would it change what we're talking about if he was just a loudmouth like T.O. and Randy?
I don't.
He'd bring more attention to himself.
Yeah, but it could be negative attention.
Yeah.
Did you guys leave Randy or T.O. off your list?
I left
No.
one of them.
You did?
Yeah.
Well, Larry's my 3.
No.
So-
Who do you have him? I guess we'll get to that, won't we?
It's one of those two. I'll tell you that.
No. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just thought it's always interesting to think about that with Larry Fitzgerald for me. That's what I think about when I think about Larry Fitzgerald. Like, I feel like there's a whole, like, I don't know.
Well,
There's even more potential there. That's kind of what I'm getting at.
Oh, you mean playing with good quarterbacks?
Yeah.
I mean, obviously that would have done wonders
Large
for his
parts of his
career.
career was just wasted on, like, one of the top 3 worst teams in the league.
Okay, so take his 2 seasons with Warner and 2 seasons with Palmer away. Who was the next best quarterback he played with?
Liner or Colt McCoy. Well, I guess unless you count, like, the year of Kyler Murray before he retired.
Yeah,
He got, like, a year or
And
two
you
of
got
Kyler.
Sam Bradford, Josh Rosen.
Josh Rosen. I forgot about
Oh my
that.
god.
What was the guy? Stanton or Stanley or
Kolb went there
yeah,
a
Kevin
while.
Kolb. Yep,
from the Eagles. What was his first name?
Kevin.
Kevin Kolb. Yeah. These are the guys that threw this great Hall of Fame receiver the ball.
The receiver has second most yards all time.
And receptions.
Yeah.
Second all time.
Josh McCown.
Oh gosh,
He was there his rookie year. I'm just going through years now. Sorry.
Whenever we do something like this, I always think Dante Culpepper comes up. Whenever we start it, like Culpepper was always mentioned as a great receiver.
I'm sure Culpepper's here somewhere.
He had a pit stop there. You never know. Well, we just brought him up.
If he even
So.
pops up.
No, don't forget about Tim Rattay.
Tim Rattay.
Yeah, Tim Rattay. I mean, how could you forget about Tim Rattay?
I don't know.
Sounds like a Pokemon.
Kind of. Yeah.
Or some kind of pasta. Let me get some of that roté and
Pokemon or
sauce.
pasta?
Oh my gosh, what is going on?
I want some garlic bread with my roté.
John Skelton.
I don't even know that.
John Skelton. There we go.
Oh no, Culpepper didn't make any stops in Arizona. I looked it up. Only Minnesota, Miami, Oakland, and Detroit.
Damn Culpepper.
Dante Culpepper.
Man, John Skelton came back again.
Wow.
Brian Hoyer made a stop.
Oh, that's another. Hoyer's been everywhere. Isn't he still in the league somewhere?
Yeah.
Probably.
He's in New England, isn't he? No.
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 No, that's Zappy.
Is he in Houston?
Hoyer was the Raiders last year. But where he's at this year, I have no idea. Drew Stanton, that's who I was talking about earlier.
Drew Stanton. Okay.
He's from Michigan, isn't he? He played in Michigan?
I believe he did, yeah. Sounds right.
Wow. Oh, yeah.
It's crazy looking at all these different receivers' backgrounds.
It is. It's kind of shocking he only made one first team All Pro.
I know.
How many did he get all together?
Well, all together. I'm not
All
sure.
3.
Just 3. He was only All Pro 3 times.
Right. One first team and 2 second.
Wow.
11 Pro Bowls, but only 3
So who
All
was...
Pros.
What you'd have?
So, I mean, Moss and T.O. and Chad Johnson.
Marvin
and
Harrison.
Marvin Harrison, Isaac Bruce. They all would have been playing at the same
all
time.
about
Calvin
Same time.
Johnson would have been later.
Calvin Johnson, yeah.
And then Julio
Antonio
Jones.
Brown.
Julio Jones and Antonio Brown.
His
would have
teammate, Anquan Bolden.
Yeah.
taken- Yeah.
What's his name? Ward from Pittsburgh.
Hines.
Hines,
Ward, yeah.
Greg Jennings probably would have taken a couple from the
Jordy
Packers.
Nelson.
Jordy Nelson. Devontae Adams. They all would have taken.
Yeah, you're looking at 04 to 20. Oh.
It's a lot
Yeah.
of- that's a lot of guys.
Hopkins from the Texans.
I'm sure those Patriots receivers stole a couple.
Welker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Demaryius Thomas for the Broncos.
Eric Decker had a couple good, huge years.
Yeah.
All right.
Brandon
Well,
Marshall,
AJ Green.
Alshon Jeffrey. Okay, we can.
Those guys were beasts on the Bears. They were. Jay Cutler. Yep, launch it deep. They're down there somewhere.
so does anybody have a 4 left?
I do.
Drew, who's your 4?
T.O.
Yeah, he's my 3.
He's my 3.
Oh, 3, 4.
So
Tio
we ain't too
didn't
far
make
off.
my list.
Wow. No T.O. on Ray's list.
Told you I left one off.
It's true. You did say that.
He's a 6-time Pro Bowler, 5-time All-Pro, member of the All-2000s team, Hall of Famer, almost 16,000 yards, 15,900, 153 touchdowns, 1,000 catches. I didn't really see too much of prime T.O. I mean, I don't really remember him even on the Buffalo or Cincinnati, but he was a beast. The story Alex always tells whenever we talk about T.O., playing on a broken leg. Super Bowl, right?
Yep, because of a horse collar tackle.
So yeah, I was like that. I mean, as much of a drama queen as he was, still doing that though for your team. He could have easily said, "My leg's broke, I'm not playing." He still played. So, I mean, his stats are just even as much all the crazy stuff he did. You can't. I just don't think you can look past that.
Well, I mean, that's as much of a pain in the ass as he was. Every place he went, he kept getting chances to play because of how great he was at playing football. He was a monster on the field.
And he's the one that did that, did his little thing in the middle of the Cowboys field.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
All kinds of stuff.
Why would it be anybody else, right?
Then he has that popular like celebration where he throws the popcorn in his face.
Oh,
Yeah.
Take it from someone. Then he has one where because him and like Chad Johnson would go back and forth,
Oh,
and
gosh.
each do different.
Yeah.
He has some other ones that were good. I can't remember what they are.
Could you imagine if those two were on a team together?
Oh, it'd be they were they? When was he in Cincinnati?
Oh gosh.
Oh,
I think it's like 07.
Were
He was
they
in
really?
Cincinnati in 2010.
Oh, shit.
They might be there at the same time,
Oh,
but it's probably the end for both of them.
What was that when Chad Johnson was in New England?
I don't know.
Oh,
I think they were there for like 1 year together, but I think they were both near the end of their primes. Now that I'm thinking about it,
could you? Yeah, funny that would be like in their primes together. Like,
oh, that'd be insane.
nothing would
Well,
happen.
Alex, did T.O. was he the one that pulled out the cell phone?
Yes.
He pulled out a cell phone out. What was it? A sock?
hit it in the
No, he hit it in the pad on the goalpost. Yeah.
I was
Do you
like,
remember
He
that?
pulled
Drew?
the he
I think I've
pulled the
heard
mar-
of it. Yeah.
he pulled the marker out of his sock to sign the football.
That's what it was. He pulled the Sharpie and then he
So
had
he's
a cell phone.
wearing a Sharpie while he's playing football.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course.
And then he hid he hid the cell phone. They had a cell phone because he was one of the first ones to get real excessive with the celebrations, and then people. So did T.O. start doing it before Chad Johnson? Yeah, I think he might have. Because them and like Steve Smith were all doing those crazy celebrations,
Steve Smith.
and then they started penalizing celebrations because they all got so overboard with it. Ooh, sidetracked there.
I mean, we were still on topic talking about him, but
Joe Cinco.
Chad.
Chad was really good there for a while.
He was.
Yeah,
He was.
Well, he was on the Bengals Mount Rushmore. Didn't we put him on there?
I think
Did
so.
we?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought we
I had
did.
him on mine.
I know. I
I
put him
can't
on mine.
remember now.
When I think of the Bengals, he's probably the first person to think of.
Yeah.
He was like the guy when I was coming up. So what are you looking up, Alberto?
I thought I remembered that Terrell Owens is the all-time leader in drops, but I can't find drops the stat on Football Reference. So I typed it, I googled it, but it's not coming up here. I can't find it.
Well, I do remember him always being like talked about him always having a ton of drops. Him being like top 5 or something, like all the time.
Well, what about
That was
who's the receiver on Kansas City?
Kadarius Toney.
Yeah, that motherfucker's got a good got a good head start.
Okay, now Brock actually said something funny the other night.
What did he say?
Alex, weren't you down there when he said it? Didn't want one of the boys dropped something and says, "Oh, just like Kadarius."
Yeah, I threw a football to Zane, and it hit Zane in the chest and bounced off, and he goes, "Oh, Kadarius Tony in the house." Yeah, it was funny.
Brock will say something like that.
Oh, Brock's always got some good phantom one-liners. You gotta know one.
Oh, that's funny.
Actually, when I looked up most drops, what wide receiver has the most drops in a career in the NFL? It's Larry Fitzgerald.
Oh, hell.
Huh?
I thought he has that
That's what it
stat.
says.
There's no way, Dad.
Yeah, well, I'm just reading what this article says, but it says it's important to note that drop passes are a subjective statistic and can vary depending on sources.
I mean, that's true. It depends because it depends on the guy on the book saying whether that ball was catchable or not.
Okay, so
That sounds like some presidential shit right there.
I've never heard
Yeah.
that one before. That's
Yeah, she was in the
Well, I
Oval
hadn't heard that
Office.
either. Like just
all right. Here's one. This one says TO. The most drop passes in NFL season has been TO with 17 drops
Oh.
in a season.
Oh, okay. So he has a season record.
Season one.
Gotcha. I knew there was something but drop passes in TO. All right. Well, we went off on that for too long. Probably bad podcasting. Sorry, guys. All right. Anybody have a 4 left?
No,
No. So who has 3s left?
I do.
I don't.
I don't. Wait. No. I just have my 2 and 1.
All right, Ray. Who's your 3?
Randy Moss.
He's my 2.
He's my 2.
he's mine too.
He's my 2.
So, but Randy's on.
So Randy is on. Okay, you guys are kind of throwing me off there for a minute, but I guess I miscounted for you all. But all right, Moss is 5.
Well, Ray, what are you going to tell us about old Randy?
He had some good catching hands back in the day. No, he was the main guy in Minnesota.
Oh.
He a very phenomenal catcher.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
What is going on?
I don't
As soon as they said the main guy in Minnesota, I know. As soon as Wade gets as soon as Wade gets the chance to talk, he's going to talk about CC. I already knew
Oh
it.
shit. Okay, 15,292 yards, 156 touchdowns. All 2000s team, offensive rookie of the year. Let's see, comeback player of the year. It looks like Hall of Fame, 6-time Pro Bowl, 4-time All Pro, and the floor is y'all's because I think I've been talking too much. So go ahead, guys.
Well, I think Randy Moss is just a different type of receiver than any of the guys we've talked about. He was almost primarily a deep threat.
Yeah.
Randy pretty much for the majority of his career refused to run across the middle of the field.
I remember listening to an interview or something like that, and someone was talking about like he's the greatest downfield receiving threat in NFL history, and you knew what he was going to do. You just couldn't stop it. They're like, he ran 3 routes. He did a go, he did a long post, and he did a screen, and that's all he did. Well, it might have been a slant too. So
That's all he would do. Randy didn't care.
It was 4. It was a screen, a slant, a post, and a go. They said that's all he did, but you couldn't stop it. No.
So I heard a interesting argument. This has nothing to do with Randy Moss, but just like deep threat receivers. I heard an interesting statistic the other day that if you're the greatest of all time at something, you should be in the Hall of Fame. And they were talking about a receiver, and they said, well, this receiver is the greatest deep threat of all time, so he needs to be in the Hall of Fame. And when I thought about it, I was like, well, he's obviously a deep threat, but he wouldn't have, I don't know that I would have put him on my list of greatest deep threats of all time. And the guy goes on, he's like, well, he's first all time in 70-yard catches, and in 60-yard catches,
Oh, no, you don't.
and in 50-yard catches, and he's like second in 40-yard catches. And I was like, oh, really? It's Deshaun Jackson.
Yeah. Yeah. When he retired the other day, they started putting out his stats.
Yeah.
I was thinking, I'm like, is he a Hall of Famer or not? But
I mean, his numbers are not, overall, are not, I mean, they're nice, but I mean, they're not like, oh my gosh, like any of the guys we're talking about today. But I mean, it was an interesting point, like, well, if he, I mean, are like, you were talking about Randy Moss being a deep threat, like, is Randy Moss a better deep threat if he didn't catch the same amount of deep balls? You know, and then like it starts making you. I'm not saying he's better than Randy Moss. That's not what I'm trying to say. But I just mean like it started making me think like, all right, this is an interesting argument. You know. So anyway, I just thought it was interesting. It really had nothing to do with Randy Moss.
That's my argument with Devin Hester. He's the greatest at what he ever did. He should be in the Hall of Fame. He should get in. That's just my opinion.
I just don't think they're going to put certain. For the longest time, they wouldn't put even certain real positions in the Hall of Fame. There was like 2 safeties until just a few years ago. You know, and like I just don't think we're there where they're going to put returners in.
I just don't want him to get screwed over.
He'll get in eventually. It'll be like
He's a
down the road
finalist
thing,
again this
probably.
year, so it gives me hope he's at least making.
What was his percentage last year for votes?
I don't remember. I'm not sure. I figure this year it'll be Julius Peppers.
Yeah, he'll be a first.
He should. I think Andre Johnson's first year. Again, receivers are backlogged, but
He's got some pretty elite numbers though. He's like right around Marvin, I think, in number wise and yards and receptions.
there's
not
another
touchdowns.
big name I'm forgetting.
I feel like there is another big name. Yeah, I think you're right.
But you're right. Receivers were backlogged.
Because T.O.
Yeah.
That's why Isaac Bruce didn't get in.
Yeah.
Well, and they still are. Reggie Wayne and Torrey Holt, in my opinion, should both be in.
But
They're both at 14 and 15,000 yards.
There's a
To
few
some
more
extent-
that we're not even thinking of.
they weren't happy with Moss either.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Moss
Antonio
really
Gates.
slowed it down.
Antonio Gates, yes.
Oh yeah, Gates. Yeah.
Gates will.
The all-time touchdown leader for the tight end position.
Yeah.
I mean,
Antonio Gates and Julius Peppers both should get.
Here's the finalists. It's Jordy Nelson, Antonio Gates, Julius Peppers. Is that Haloti Naha?
Dude, it looks like. And that's Jamal Charles?
I don't know, maybe. They don't have their names. They just have pictures of them. I'm trying,
Oh,
and that's a Packers offensive lineman. It looks like,
yeah.
and then
Brandon Marshall.
and Brandon Marshall. And I don't know who that guy
Some
is.
Saints lineman.
Yeah, it looks like a Saints offensive lineman, and then a Packers. I don't know who that Packers guy is either. There's 2 Packers on here though.
2 Packers linemen and Jordy Nelson.
Who the hell? Where are their names?
No idea.
On their birth certificate.
Gosh dang it, right? Gosh dang it. No, yeah, there'll be a decent amount of decent people, I think.
Yeah. Anyway, I guess it doesn't really matter. We're going off on a tangent again. Anybody else have anything to add on Randy Moss before we move on?
Yeah.
No.
He almost had an undefeated season.
Yeah, he was on the highest scoring. Oh, weren't they the highest scoring offense of all time? I think
They were at the time. I don't know if they still are or not.
But yeah, he's part of that. That was his comeback player of the year season, wasn't it? His last All-Pro season was that year, probably.
I think, and that's the same year he broke the touchdown record. Which does he still hold that?
How many is it?
23.
Ooh,
I think so.
I think he does.
Who would have beat it?
I don't know.
Oh,
I mean, all the quarterback records get broke every other year, so I figured maybe.
I don't know. I'm trying to think how many
I don't
Cooper Kupp had a couple years ago.
Yeah.
I don't think he got in the 20s, did he, for touchdowns? He was like he almost broke Calvin's yards record.
Yeah.
Right.
He got real close to that one. I don't think he was approaching Moss in touchdowns though.
The Hall of Fame finalists for 24 are Eric Allen, Jared Allen, Willie Anderson, Jari Evans, Dwight Freeney, Antonio Gates, Rodney Harrison, and Devin Hester.
Those are all pretty.
That's pretty good. be a
Jared
good squad
Allen
going
actually
in.
has like 130 some sacks.
I think he does,
like
yeah.
140 or something like that. Like he's up there. He was an absolute
He was a
monster, for a
monster,
lot of
yeah.
years.
How many do they pick to go in?
Don't you have to just have a certain percentage?
Yeah, you have to be above. What's the threshold? Is it 80%?
I think so.
Something like that.
It's something. Yeah, you have to
On
be
a-
above
like
a
a
certain
voting
percentage,
percentage.
and you get in.
So
But do they have like a certain number of people, or is it just off voting percentage?
I don't know all the exact details.
I don't know. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's easier in baseball because baseball isn't only like sometimes it's only like 1 or 2 guys.
Yeah, baseball is just if you get the percentage you get in, and some years it's 0. Like some
Yeah.
years nobody gets in.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Wasn't last year? It was Now I can't think of the Cardinals' name.
There's a couple more.
third
Rowland.
Rowland, yeah, it was Scott Rowland and some other guy. Those were the only two to get in this last year.
People threw a fit about Rolling getting in too.
I was dumbfounded by it, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Lots of people were upset.
Like,
by Rolling.
this is not the Hall of Okay or the Hall of Good. This is the Hall of Fame. And Scott,
No.
I like Scott Rowland, but Scott Rowland's not a Hall of
So
Famer.
I'm a Cardinal fan. I like Scott Rowland, but like, he's not.
Yeah, I was a what?
Torrey Holt and Andre Johnson are also on the list. There was another
Andre
an
Johnson.
extra.
Really? Reggie Wayne's not on it?
Fred Taylor, Reggie Wayne,
Okay, I was about to say.
Patrick Willis, Darren Woodson. There was
More. There's a lot of them.
yeah. That's
That's just the player one. I'm sure there's the older one too, isn't there? Like,
yeah,
Oh,
they have like yeah, I know what you're talking about.
yeah, because isn't it like what 5 or 6 years like active, like not active players, but like it's your first time, and then after so far you can get.
yeah.
Then
There's
there's
like
a coaches one. And,
I can't remember what the hell it's called, but I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah,
right. Yeah, it's like
You
the
can-
old timers list.
Yeah,
or,
because they just let like a Cowboy in like this past year or two, an old Cowboys receiver.
Yeah, you're right.
Was it Pearson?
Yes, Drew Pearson.
Pearson,
Yep.
like they just let Pearson in, like, or like is it this year or last year?
Yeah, I think it was last year, the year before,
Yeah.
because the year before that, what's his name from Philly got in, because that was a big thing. Was our receiver got in and he played at the same time as Pearson.
Harold Carmichael.
Harold Carmichael, thank you.
He was really good too.
And so when Carmichael got in, all the Cowboys fans were up in arms because how did he get in and not Pearson? And then the next year Pearson got in.
Yeah,
yeah, because when we went to the Hall of Fame, it was the year Tony Baselli got in,
Right.
And Dick Vermeil.
Yeah. Yeah. If you get a chance to go to the Hall of Fame, I highly recommend
It's
it.
cool.
Drew and I spent hours there. It was a lot.
We could have
of fun.
spent a lot more time. I mean, we basically spent all day there, and it doesn't look that big, but there's so much
So much
memorabilia.
going
Like
on. Yeah.
they have,
If
And
you
that-
love football, it's a fun place to
And
go.
that's Canton, Ohio.
yeah, it's really cool.
I would go. That'd be cool.
I enjoyed it.
I'd like to go during the Hall of Fame game, see the game, and
Yeah.
be there when they're inducting
If
people.
Devin Hester
and-
gets in, we're gonna have to go back.
Yeah,
I gotta
there
go
you
see
go.
my boy. I'll put my jersey on. Like I've been there since day one.
All right, well, anything else on Moss before we move on?
You got mossed.
And by the way, I will say this: Randy Moss has been a much better commentator than I thought he would be.
He does do a good
Yeah,
job.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
he does a good job. Yeah,
Yeah, he doesn't annoy me like
I thought he'd just be kind of annoying and like talk all the time and like be obnoxious, but no, he actually like talks about smart things and like has insight on the game and stuff. He's done a really good job.
Lots of people say he's very, very intelligent. They said that's why Bill Belichick liked him so much in New England.
Apparently, him and Belichick are like actually friends. Like,
Yeah, like,
they
they're
go to each other's
bros.
houses and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
like
not who I thought would be friends with
like Belichick loves him because I guess Randy Moss is like actually like a football genius. They said that's why him and Brady and Belichick all loved each other.
Well, they talked about Mosh used to call Belichick like at 2 a.m.
Yeah.
about random stuff.
So like he's not dumb. He just portrayed himself as a
And he hasn't always
crazy guy
Well, at the
sometimes.
beginning of his career, he didn't make the best choices.
Yeah. He
Yeah.
made some poor choices to
Yeah,
start
they,
his career.
He barely
they
got
probably
into
called
college.
each other up and was like, "Hey, man, you got the key to the parlor down in Florida?"
Well, I mean, let's be honest. If Randy Moss played today, he probably wouldn't be in the league. I mean, the decisions he made at the beginning of his career, Goodell might have booted him.
Yeah.
I mean, he ran over a police officer and drug her with his car.
Oh my!
That's not something Goodell would put up with.
Right.
Wow, I didn't even hear about
Yeah, I
that.
missed that on some of this stuff.
I mean, 2 major colleges passed on him.
Well, not
He
two
almost
major
went to Notre
ones.
Dame, didn't he?
Right. That's what his first.
That was first.
Yeah.
Then he got caught. What?
He got. I think there was a high school brawl.
Yeah, he
He was involved.
Notre
in it,
Dame
so
said
Notre Dame
no.
passed.
So then he was going to go to Florida State.
He gonna go to Florida State. Then he got caught smoking
Yeah.
pot. I think.
Doobies.
Bobby Bowden let him
Bobby Bowden let him go.
And then Marshall picked him up.
Yeah.
Then he just destroyed everyone.
Yeah, he did.
Well,
We just watched that 30 for 30.
Yeah.
It's good.
The other
that
night.
Heisman class in '97.
About the
3
class in
first
97.
ballot Hall of Famers and Ryan Leaf. That's Peyton, Charles Woodson, and Randy Moss. Then you got douchebag Ryan Leaf.
Yeah.
Hey, Ryan Levis turned his life around and speaks to children about not doing drugs. Okay,
Well, that's good.
He's like Mr. Mackey. Okay,
What drug?
Okay. Okay, children.
well, does anybody have anybody that's not number one?
No, that's all I got.
No.
That's all I got.
I think I'm done. Yeah.
I don't think there's any doubt who number one
Yeah,
is.
there's only
better
one
be.
guy.
Old Jerry Rice.
Yep.
Yeah.
Reggie Wayne.
Only in our dreams.
Old
Yeah,
Jerry.
maybe not, but
Jerry Rice. Craziness.
Well, let's see here. Mr. Jerry was 13-time Pro Bowler, 11-time All-Pro, 3 Super Bowls, Super Bowl MVP, 2-time Offensive Player of the Year. He holds every receiving category known to man, basically. At least when he retired, I think he had basically everything. Some have gotten broken over the years, but he still holds. I mean, he's the leading.
He's still got catches, yards, and touchdowns.
Well, yards is like by, what, 5,000 yards?
Yeah, he's like 22,000 to
And-
Fitzgerald's 7.
And what, touchdowns is what, like by,
197 to 156.
I thought it was like almost 40.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean.
He still holds all the main records. That little small stuff's fallen off. Calvin's was a big one when Calvin got the single season
Yeah,
record,
that-
but
yeah.
a lot of the other ones I feel like are kind of
He
smaller stuff.
still has 3 big ones for careers.
Yeah,
And no one's close.
and he really still kind of has the touchdown record. He had 22 in like 12 games.
Yeah.
While Tomas's 23 in 16 games.
And as many awards as he has, you could argue he could have won a couple MVPs.
I think he's one of the few receivers ever to actually almost win because he was actually in the MVP voting sometimes.
Well, we talked about-
in 3 straight years in the MVP voting, he finished third, and second.
That's crazy for a receiver.
the people that beat him were his quarterbacks. Or him and his quarterback would split the vote and someone else would win.
Yeah.
We've talked about that. I know.
So his third year in the league, he came in second MVP and first in Offensive Player of the Year, and he lost to John Elway, who threw for 3,100 yards, 19 touchdowns, and 12 picks.
That stupid MVP keeps popping up in our conversations.
Yeah.
We went off on that one during the Mount Rushmore for the NFL
And that's the season Rice had 22 touchdowns
in 12 games.
in 12 games.
That's nuts. That's nuts. He had more touchdowns than John Elway.
Yes, he did. Yeah.
What the shit? How do you
And then, like I said, then he has this 3-year run where he goes third, second, right here in the middle of his career, 93, 94, 95. And he won Offensive Player of the Year one of those years, too. He comes in third in 90, 93. Emmett wins it with 1,400 yards and 9 touchdowns.
Oh.
9 touchdowns.
Yeah, I was not expecting that.
While Jerry Rice had 1,500 yards and 15 touchdowns.
Yeah, that sounds like a little bait job. there.
But
Well, that was the Cowboys' big years, though.
they won a
Yeah.
Super Bowl that year.
Yeah.
but
so-
Steve Young came in second.
Like I said, his own quarterback.
He threw for 4,000 yards and 29 touchdowns with 16 picks. So
And Steve ran around some, too.
he had 400 rushing yards.
Yeah.
So I would say Steve Young had a pretty good year, but literally Jerry had more yards and more touchdowns than Emmett.
Right.
You know, like I don't know. It's a weird one. And Emmett got 26 votes, Steve Young got 21, and Rice got 15.
See, somebody was getting some side.
It was back in the Cowboys' heyday. Everything was going to go to the Cowboys.
So then the following year, he comes in third again. But this year, his quarterback wins the MVP, and Steve Young.
Okay.
Steve Young threw for 3,900 yards, 35 touchdowns, and 10 picks. So that's one of his best years. And he got 74 votes. Like, he ran away with it. But this person in second place was Barry Sanders with 22 votes. And he ran for 1,800 yards and 7 touchdowns. Jerry got 1 vote. And he ran for 1,500 yards and caught 1,500 yards, damn it, and 13 touchdowns on 112 catches. Nice season. And then the following year, he comes in second place in the MVP voting. So this is his second place finish. He loses to Brett Favre, who throws for 4,400 yards, 38 touchdowns, and 13 picks.
Yeah.
Rice has 122 catches for 1,850 yards and 15 touchdowns.
I don't know. That Favre year is real nice.
It is. Favre got 69 votes. It wasn't close.
Yeah, I mean, Favre kind of deserved that one, I'd say.
But you know who got 2 votes?
Who?
Jim Harbaugh.
Oh, yeah. Captain Comeback?
Yeah.
Yeah, himself.
He threw for 2,500 yards, 17 touchdowns, and 5 picks, and ran for -9 yards.
Yeah.
That's our boy, Ray.
Yeah.
4th in MVP, man. That's crazy.
Because he's Captain Comeback.
Well, while we're talking about the MVP, I mean, it's probably going to be Lamar, but I think it should be Christian McCaffrey or Tyreek.
This would be the year to do it.
I mean, they're more valuable to their teams.
I think we're looking at they're missing games. Tyreek missed another game. McCaffrey missed 3 in the middle of the season.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's Lamar's to lose at this point, and I don't think Lamar's even going to play this week.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, he probably shouldn't. Yeah.
I mean,
But
but
Tyreek Hill's house burnt today?
Who did?
I did see that.
Tyreek
Yeah.
Hill's house.
Oh, that's awful.
Caught on
Yeah,
fire.
it caught fire.
Oh, shoot, no, I didn't hear that.
Yeah. I didn't hear all the details, but they said he left practice because the house was on fire.
I saw something that like him and his family were doing all right. Like I think everyone got out of the house and stuff. So like
Well, that's good.
That's good, yeah.
so
But I think Lamar has a few things going for him. First off, he's the quarterback on the team with the best record in the NFL, so that's always got something going for you. Second off, he is playing well. It's not like he's just all right. He is playing well. But thirdly, he has a story, which drives MVP votes a lot. His story is nobody in the offseason wanted him, and now he's taking his team to the best record in the NFL.
well, he's at that point now where if he just has good passing numbers to go with his phenomenal rushing ability, I mean he's pretty nasty. He's pretty hard. His all around value is pretty.
And he hasn't
high.
had his number 1 receiver for the last 2 months.
Yeah,
Andrews has been out for months.
I don't have a problem with Lamar
And his starting running backs out too.
Well, the Ravens never have their
They've gone
starting
through like
running back.
3 running backs.
It always comes back to
crazy.
Gus Edwards in the end.
Yeah,
And Gus we
It does.
trust.
I don't have an issue
Gus
with
the
Lamar
Bus.
winning. I don't think it would be crazy if he won it, but I think this would be the year to not give it to a quarterback just because no one's really separated themselves to me. And like, because someone was talking about this the other day, something I was watching, and like McCaffrey is like the only player in the NFL with over 2,000 yards from scrimmage, I think, and he's leading the league in touchdowns.
Mm-hmm.
And then Tyreek's got 1,800 receiving yards, and like
and those two,
these are pretty
McCaffrey
crazy.
not as much, but Tyreek just changes the Dolphins' offense.
Oh yeah,
I mean, he changed that Dolphins team by himself. I mean, they couldn't beat the Titans without him.
I mean it was.
I mean, I know they're missing some other guys now and stuff, but still.
I mean, yeah, that was what everybody was saying after he left the Titans game, and then they got beat. But then he didn't play the other day, and they had like 500 and some yards of offense.
I think he's only missed 1 game. I think he's on my fantasy team.
I just listened to a whole podcast about it. I'm pretty sure they were talking about how he discredited that because he missed a game the other day, and they played really well without him.
I know he did miss a game, at least 1 game,
Yeah, I know he
like
missed
2-3
at
weeks
least one,
ago.
Yeah.
Well, I thought he played all the other ones. Maybe not. Maybe he didn't play this last week, and I just didn't recognize it.
Well, this last week they got dog walked by Baltimore.
Yes.
Yeah, like 56-21 or something like that.
Well, the winner of the Bills-Dolphins game.
Wins the division.
Yeah, wins the division.
The Bills win
Yeah.
this week. They're the division winners.
I tell you what, there's a sneaky pick right there. If Josh Allen drags this team to the playoffs, you got to think about Josh Allen.
Well, here, let's pull up Josh
Yeah.
Allen.
Especially since his kryptonite's not doing so hot right
Josh
now.
Allen is 65 completion percentage, almost 4,000 yards, 27 touchdowns. His turnovers aren't going to be good, though.
Yeah, that's what kills him.
Well, I think he has a ton of like rushing
He has
touchdowns.
16 interceptions, but he had like 15 rushing touchdowns, I think.
Yeah.
Something nuts.
Well, his passing numbers are better than Lamar's. I don't know what they're...
Rushing. Yeah, he's got 15 rushing touchdowns this year. So he's got a total of... He's got like 40 total touchdowns.
Yeah. He's got 15 rushing touchdowns. That's crazy.
I mean, they're all like inside 5 yards.
Well, look at him. He's a
You
monster.
said 15 rushing touchdowns? And how many yards?
Let me see. Hold on a second. Rushing yards?
Yeah.
1 second. Let me find it again. He has rushing 400.
So that's the big difference. Lamar has 800 rushing
I mean, it's
yards.
457, so he might get up to 500 after this one, but yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, Tyreek's played 15 games. So
So he has missed.
Yeah, but he played part of that Titans game, so that would count as a game.
yeah, and then he sat one out a couple weeks ago. I think that's it.
Yeah.
Because they're going to play again this week, so that'd
It'll
be
be
16.
16.
So that just means he missed one game.
Yeah. That still throws me off 17, though.
It does me too.
Okay.
I'll say something like, "Oh, somebody's gonna finish 8-8," and I'm like, "Wait, they can't do that."
Yeah.
Yeah, I got to get my records. Like, now it's 13-4.
Yeah.
It's 12-5. Like,
And Tyreek's got 112 receptions, 1,717 yards, and 12 touchdowns in 15 games.
All right. Well, should we talk about the receiver list again? Ray, would you mind pulling it up?
Yes, sir. Give me 1 second.
We got 7 guys for 5 spots, so actually not a ton.
No.
Yeah, 3 that are in.
Yeah, and 3 that are already in, which is Fitzgerald, Moss, and Rice.
Right.
So T.O. has 4, Marvin Harrison has 3, Calvin Johnson has 2, and Lance Allworth has 1. Those are the guys we still have to talk about. So 4 guys for 2 spots.
Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and make this interesting.
Well, Lance Allworth just went bye-bye.
And Calvin Johnson gets an extra vote.
Megatron.
So there we go.
All right, well, now we're down.
Don't need
Now
to
there's
go
3
from here.
guys for 2 spots.
gotta stay right.
3, 3, and 4. I like this. This is interesting. So, Ray, you have Calvin and Marvin.
Correct.
Uncle Doug, you have Marvin and T.O.
Yep.
Wade, you have Marvin and T.O.
Yes.
Then me and you have T.O. and Calvin.
Why
Yes.
don't we all just say fuck T.O., put the other 2 in, and call it a day?
Yeah.
I'm on Ray's side. Say fuck T.O. He was a hot mess express anyway.
Yeah.
He's a team ruiner. Get him out of here.
I mean, he ruined my team.
I know.
I give you that.
Let's get him the fuck out of
Yeah,
here.
I thought about doing that, but I thought you guys would call me crazy because
Hey,
he has so much
I said
stats.
earlier,
'Cause he's
Marvin averaged more yards per game
Oh, here we go.
and with more
I'll come
more
back to the Colt
receptions.
getting on Alex.
And
Yeah.
Johnson. I was gonna stand up for Johnson, but fucking now.
I mean,
my boy
correct me if I'm wrong. Somebody tell me. He's what? 3rd in yards and 3rd in touchdowns?
T.O. He's 3rd in touchdowns. 3rd in yards. Yep, that's right.
And 1st in drops. Get him the fuck out.
just for a season, Wade. He was probably mad at Donovan McNabb for not getting the ball enough.
I guess
He was mad at Donovan a lot.
He was mad at a lot of people frequently. Well, I tried, Ray. I tried to give you a push.
I mean, nothing's happening right now. I mean, we still got 3 up there.
Let's see what happens. Take me
Yeah.
up T.O., put me on Calvin Johnson.
Really?
Yeah, let's go
Yeah.
for it. Let's see if we can get a push.
Wow.
That's what I'm talking about.
Uncle Doug, how do you feel right now?
I don't know.
I know T.O.'s not Dad's favorite guy in the world.
Yeah, that's true.
Call me Captain.
I feel like we're about to have a Lou Gehrig moment here, guys.
Might have to take
One
my vote off
had-
of T.O. and put it on Isaac Bruce.
I like Isaac.
Oh,
Go
no.
for it.
Oh, no.
I don't think that's possible.
I'll come off Calvin and go to Isaac. Get rid of T.O.
Dad told you should have put him up there.
I should have put him up there.
I really did consider him.
Yeah.
He was
He-
really, really good.
He's got a lot more.
He's top 5 in some stats,
Yeah.
but others he's farther down.
Isn't he top 3 in something?
His yards and receptions, I thought, were both really high, weren't they?
He's got a lot of receptions.
15,000 yards,
I mean, that's pretty impressive
Yeah.
right there.
1,000
Yeah,
catches.
when Dad started talking about it, I'm like, okay, I know he's your favorite. But when I got to look at him, like, he's closer than what you think.
No, he's really good. I think his touchdowns were just kind of lower
Yeah,
than
that's
some
what
other
killed
guys.
him in 91. He didn't even hit 100.
Yeah.
What's your guys' other receivers' stats look like? Wayne and
They're both at 14 and 15, I think.
Yeah.
These
Reggie
are-
just doesn't have the touchdowns. That's
Right.
Reggie's
Torrey
issue.
didn't have touchdowns either.
gotcha.
I'll pull them up because I think they both should be in.
Because the only difference between Reggie and Marvin is their touchdowns, really. their receptions and yards are both really close
Reggie has
together.
1,000 catches, 14,000 yards, and 82 touchdowns.
Yeah.
And then
Marvin's got like 128 touchdowns.
Torrey Holt has 900 catches, 500 yards, and 74 touchdowns.
Yeah, see, his touchdowns are really low.
Well, didn't Torrey didn't quite, did he have really great longevity? I thought something happened to him, and by like 32, 33, things were kind of going down for him.
Yeah, I think. Well, the Rams went downhill.
So didn't he end up in Jacksonville?
Yeah, he
Yeah,
ended
for
up
like a
someplace
year.
else, and
I just saw like he had hurt his knee or something, and then he went to Jacksonville, and it was kind of just over after like 10 years or,
So
you know.
they both have Super Bowls and stuff. So
Because I mean, not that 10 years is super, super short, but just compared to some other guys, you know,
Right.
that play, 20 or 15, you can.
Well, I'll be honest with you guys. I really was prepared to let Calvin go, but this is taking such a crazy turn. Like, I don't even know what to
don't
think.
let him go,
Yeah.
Alex. Don't say stuff like
We're
that.
just going to ride this storm out, Alex, and we're going to see where we land.
Right in the storm.
I'm just stirring the pot.
Are we going to lose credibility if we leave T.O. off the list?
No. Who
Hell
gives a
no.
shit?
A lot of people, Alex, the Hall of Fame wouldn't put him in because he's T.O.
They put Marvin in before T.O. because he's better.
I don't know that way. It's because he's.
Yeah, but
Hey.
this is like,
The Hall of Fame has spoken.
hey, this is
They're both in now.
but this is the 5 greatest receivers of all time, not the 5 best humanitarians of all time.
Yeah,
Like,
but T.O. was
put
such-
Randy Moss. Like,
Yeah. But, I mean, T.O. was such a douche at times that he did ruin his team that he was on. I mean, didn't your old Super Bowl window close after all of his drama?
well, the very next year, he blew our team up.
It was over.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
he literally fucked up his own career and people around him because he was, like, out of all seriousness, like, because he was such a bitch.
he's a good bitch.
Who's he? He's fighting with somebody right now.
What'd you say,
publicly.
Drew, over there? What was that?
Oh yeah,
He's been like my boy Butters. He's just my bottom.
Oh, come on, Eric.
So what record does Calvin got?
Oh no!
Most yards in a season.
Every Detroit line receiving record.
Yeah, that's right.
The most yards in a season.
Yeah. I mean, he played 9 years. So what longevity records do you want, Dad?
Well, I'm not thinking longevity. I'm thinking that's why I said season records. Most yards in a season. He had most catches, but Thomas got it right.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
broke. Well, I mean, he has like most catches of Matthew Stafford's passes.
Yeah.
He has that record, I think.
Shoot, I don't know. Cooper Cup's
So
got a
9
lot.
seasons, over 1,000 yards a season. He averaged 15.9 per catch, 83 touchdowns, but it's only 9 seasons. Okay, I'll come off T.O. and go to Cal.
Yeah! Megatron is in.
Drew started working on me before we left the house about Calvin. It's like,
Yeah, you and the next guy, you want to talk about it. So we got to talking about this and the next episode
I
about
don't
that.
even know what just happened. Ray or Drew, we went from the only guys with Calvin to the only guys with T.O.
I mean, we're in the same position. It's just different guys.
yeah.
Oh.
I don't
Now
even,
we got to get him off a Colt.
That's
Colt
not happening.
fans.
Good luck with that. keep trying. It ain't happening.
I mean, I like Marvin better.
See, there you go.
But
Go ahead and put it up there.
they're different because during his career, Marvin was very quiet. You didn't hear anything out of
No.
it. But since his career's come over, it's come out that he's like a thug and like a complete asshole and like nobody likes him.
Oh, don't over dramatize it. It's not that big. There was like a shooting at a car wash.
Yeah, don't over dramatize. He just shoots people. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Shooting at a car wash.
Oh,
Let me take you
that's
to
funny.
a car wash.
Wow. But you didn't have my premium wash.
I think he owned the car wash and there was a shooting or something.
They
like
ran out of tokens.
that. Fuck you, Marvin. I'm a Patriots fan.
I'm a Michigan fan. Your son's a Buckeye.
His son is a beast.
Yes, he is.
But him and his son do not look alike. Like
I noticed that there is like a
I mean,
weird.
that you can tell it's his son, like some of the eyes and stuff, but like his hair is totally different. And just the way he.
They just have I don't know. There's a couple like facial features that just aren't.
Are a little different than their like their
Yeah.
eyes are the same. You can tell. I don't know from like here up.
It's just like a weird. I don't know. It's just kind of goofy.
He got it from his
Well, and
mom.
his son's a big kid. He's like 6'4".
Yeah,
Is he really that tall?
I think he is that big.
No, Marvin's not. I don't think
Yeah.
Marvin's above 6 foot. I think he's like 5'10", 5'11".
Really, I thought he was at least 6 foot.
It might be listed at 6 foot, maybe.
I'm looking it up right now. Harrison Jr. is 6'4", yeah.
Dang. Marvin is at 6 foot.
Well, at least listening, man, you could be right, Wade. Realistically, he could be.
6'4", 205. That's what Junior's listed at.
205 at 6'4".
So he could stand to probably put on a little weight.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But he is
gonna
talented.
be good though.
But here's something though. There's a possibility he gets stuck in fucking Arizona just like somebody else we just talked about, and we don't ever see the guy on TV.
That's right. Come to Chicago.
Yeah, we'll definitely see him on TV all the time.
Yeah,
we will.
You don't want.
You can see last place teams play every week. It's great.
Alex, you ever want to watch the Eagles for the last month?
Yeah, just turn on Thursday night fucking Amazon Prime fucking games. That ain't nothing but shit
I don't wanna hear
dumpster
it.
fires.
We're doing better. It's better.
I will say this: the broadcasts have been all right, but if I didn't already have Prime and they put Thursday night games in there, I'd have been pissed.
Yeah, they've been that bad.
Yeah, most of us have. We have Prime because my mom has Amazon Prime for shipping and stuff.
Yeah, that's what I have it for.
We don't
too,
have it
yeah.
because we just realized a couple years. I think it was during COVID. We were running out of stuff to watch. I'm like, Amazon Prime's a streaming service. I'm like, do we have that? So I typed in Mom's email and stuff, and we did. So that's why we have it.
Yep.
And we are not affiliated in any way, shape, or form with Amazon Prime.
They can send us a sponsorship. If they
I'll
want.
talk.
They want to sponsor
I'll
the
talk
game.
about you for 30
I mean, if they want to
seconds.
do like that, yeah. I mean,
I'll talk about them. Billy.
Yeah. All right. So T.O. and Marvin Harrison. I mean,
Marvin.
we could just do like a direct
Marvin.
comparison or something. I don't know.
Or we can go to the boards.
Good.
I'm
down for that.
Marvin.
Why don't we vote on going to the boards?
Yeah. Marvin.
I'll say if you
keep
win this,
chanting.
Alex, it probably means Drew gets all.
Why do you bring this up? Why do you bring this up, Dad? You just trying to stir the pot.
Hey, if T.O. gets on, you have a perfect week.
Yeah.
I'm changing my vote to Marvin Harrison.
Yeah. No. I'm done.
All right, looks like they-
guys, I'm going home.
You were outnumbered either way. It's fine.
All right, another asterisk for Drew.
Better put that down.
That was an interesting episode.
Walter Jones.
I can't believe this happened. I love it. I
You should
love
have
it.
said that earlier, Uncle. This has been over a long time ago.
This is
I'm sitting there
fantastic.
going, wait a minute, I know how to swing this vote.
This is 2017 UCF. I'm claiming my national title. I'm claiming 5 for 5. This is bull crap.
And just like UCF, nobody will remember it in a couple of years.
Never mind. I'm being nice. I gotta pee.
Well, Ray, we got him on.
See, that's what all that chanting did.
Might have took some blackmail manipulation, but we got there.
What time we at, Ray?
We're at 1:03.
Oh shit, we haven't even done what if.
Oh, what is our what if?
Well, we've been saving this what if since like almost the very beginning, and because we thought it was a perfect fit in this spot. The what if is, what if Bo Jackson didn't get hurt? But we thought it was a perfect fit because today is football, and next week we go back to baseball. And the two-sport athlete, Bo Jackson, baseball and football, we thought it was great. So the question is, what if Bo Jackson didn't get hurt? So I guess here's my question. To start it off, does anybody disagree with this statement? Bo Jackson, without his injury, is a Hall of Fame running back.
I think there's a very good chance of that.
I think so too.
Yeah.
Anybody that saw the one run where he ran over Bosworth and went like, I forget how long the run was. It was unbelievable.
Yeah, he had some of those breakaway runs where like he was blowing defensive backs away in the dust like it was not even a competition.
Yeah.
Like it took him like 15 yards to just separate from everybody and just
And besides that, he was so powerful.
yeah, he was ginormous.
And he was amazing.
You know he didn't work out?
Really?
He did neck exercises. The football coach like he didn't like it and the football coach didn't make him do it. He would just do neck exercises to help build his neck up for being a running back. Like he ran and played sports and stuff obviously all of his life, but like he never actually like lifted weights. He didn't. I don't think even in the pros he did a lot of it. Like
Sure looked like he was just ripped.
Yeah.
oh, he was just a freak of nature. Like
Let me hear
he
something
was-
crazy. In 1990, the Raiders made the playoffs. Bo only got 6 carries for 77 yards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I will say this, I haven't pulled up. He doesn't play a lot of games.
Because
Baseball.
baseball, I think.
Is it
because he played baseball too.
Well, yeah, I mean, I knew he played
Yeah.
baseball too, yeah.
I think he would finish baseball season, wouldn't he? And then when it was over, he would go join the Raiders.
Then he would go. Yeah,
Was that right?
I believe so. Yeah,
So I think he prioritized. Was it? I don't remember how.
and he was a good outfielder. I mean, I
Yeah.
still
He made
remember
an
running up the wall. And
he
making
made
that
an all-star
amazing
game.
catch.
Yeah, he's the only player ever to be an all-star in 2 professional sports, isn't he? Does he have a Pro Bowl?
Let's see here.
Yeah, he does.
You got one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, here you go. I mean, here's baseball. This is 4 straight years. 22, 25, 32, 28. Those are his home run numbers. And again, he's not playing full seasons.
I don't know what his mixture of how he split time was then.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, because he never got 1,000 yards rushing,
That
but his yards per attempt 6.8, 4.3, 5.5, 5.6.
Well, the most games he ever started in a season was 9.
Yeah.
So I don't remember I don't know what schedule he had.
See what there would have been 14 games in. When did we switch to 16?
I don't remember.
I don't know either. I think we're at 16 during that time. Or at least part of it.
I don't remember.
Well, baseball or football starts in September, right? Like the first week or second week or something.
That sounds right.
So
Yeah.
3 to 4 games, that's gone. And then you take October if he makes a playoff in baseball, that's another 4 weeks gone. So there's 8 games. So probably depending on the playoff schedule, that's probably right there.
Yeah.
That's probably half the season.
But so then would he be playing? But he wouldn't be playing football in the baseball season, would he?
No, that's what I'm saying. He'd be playing playing football after.
I mean, the
baseball.
Super Bowl is in February, and baseball season doesn't start till May
Yeah.
or
That's what I'm
April.
saying.
So,
So what's affecting his baseball numbers?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Because if he's staying to finish baseball to not join the Raiders, then he should be playing a full baseball season, shouldn't he?
Yeah, or
Yeah,
maybe
that's true. Yeah.
maybe he was missing some games at the end of the season to play. I don't know. This is weird.
Yeah.
Or maybe he had more injury problems than we remembered.
Yeah, maybe
I
that's
just
true too.
remember the hip.
I mean, the hip is what ended his career,
Right,
yeah. But like, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, he had played 4 years in the NFL, and 3 of the 4 years, he had the longest carry of the year.
Yeah.
91, 92, and 88.
So, so what do you think his baseball career looks like if he doesn't get hurt?
don't know if he's a Hall of Famer, but I think he'd be remembered as a pretty good player.
Yeah, I don't think he's a Hall of Famer as a baseball player.
But he's pretty damn good.
He was good. I mean, here's probably his best season, and this is like right before he gets hurt, I guess. He batted .256 with 32 home runs at 105 RBIs and 26 stolen bases.
That's actually a really nice year.
It is. I mean, that's the year he made the All-Star team.
And defensively, I think he was pretty good with it.
I think he was really good. I mean, he had an absolute cannon for an arm.
Yeah, and good range, so.
Well, yeah, he could literally run all the way up and down the wall.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
I mean, the next year after that, he hit .272 with 28 home runs and 78 RBIs and 15 stolen bases in only 110 games.
Yeah.
He was just a insane athlete, just all around. It's kind of fascinating. Like, because we have these conversations about, saying this guy or that guy, like we see like how dominant some of these guys are in their one sport, and we're like, wow, that guy might be the greatest athlete we've ever seen. But when you actually think about it, it's like, no, it's probably Bo Jackson. Like he was an all-star in 2 professional sports at the same time. That's in 2 sports that aren't alike. Like the hand-eye coordination you need to be a really great baseball player that's a whole nother trait than it is to be putting your head down and running through 300-pound men. Like, those are 2 very hard.
Yeah, it's not like he's playing baseball and cricket where there's a lot of relation.
Yeah,
you know,
it's violence and extreme hand-eye coordination with some athletics mixed in. Like, it's just, I don't know. It's just crazy what he was able to accomplish.
So what about Dion? What's the gap between him and Bo?
I don't think Dion was near the baseball player Bo was.
Right, yeah.
Dion was respectable, I think, but he just wasn't close to an all-star.
Yeah.
But he was.
But Dion made baseball his clear second sport.
Yeah, that's true too.
I don't think Dion ever missed football games for baseball.
No.
Okay.
Like being an Atlanta Brave was kind of like his hobby.
Yeah, yeah.
Like it really was. Like kind of.
Well, maybe part of Bo's, we're talking about his games and stuff. He played for the Royals, right?
Yeah.
And then for the Raiders.
Yeah.
So he's not in the same town.
That's very true.
Whereas Dion he played for the Braves and the Falcons.
Yeah.
So I wonder how that worked.
True.
Because didn't Dion do both?
In the same day.
In the same day,
yeah.
Dion was doing a bunch of flying around because there was like a playoff. The MLB playoffs were during football season,
right?
And and the Braves were trying to win a World Series, and they had injuries, I think, that one year, and they needed him to actually play in the playoffs. And I can't remember if he was there for the World Series or not, but he was around close to that time they won because they were contending. And then, but he still had he had a contract with the Braves and the Falcons. I think it was a big deal for a while. It was in the news, and I think it was part of his 30 for 30.
Bo Jackson only played 53 games in the minors.
Really?
His first year in the minors, he got called up to the pros.
Wow.
Played 53 games, then got called up and played in Kansas City. That's crazy. Yeah. I mean, so I guess here's my next question is, if he doesn't get hurt, and I'm not saying anything drastic either way, like he doesn't have a drastic improvement or a drastic fall off or anything like that, he continues to do what he was doing, is he widely regarded as the greatest athlete of all time?
I think he would be if he kept doing what he was doing.
I think I hear a lot of people say it now.
Yeah.
Like I feel like if you're most people that I know that are like real big, real sports fans, I know a lot of people that say Bo Jackson's the greatest athlete of all time. I think if he stays healthy, I think it's obviously going to be a lot bigger amount of people think that. I think it would be pretty close to. Yeah.
Yeah. Bo knows sports. Bo knows baseball.
And he's like, the dude must be like obsessive because he's like turned himself into a world class archery guy now.
Oh, really?
Really?
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's an interesting switcheroo.
Well, here's another thing I just noticed. Look at his ages when he played football. 25, 26, 27, 28. So did he just not play football the first few years out of college?
His baseball career is 23 through 31. So he starts at 23 in baseball.
Wasn't there some sort of drama with him coming out of the draft?
Did he go somewhere else? Did he go play in the Canadian League or USFL or something?
Ooh, did he play in the USFL? I don't know.
Because, I mean, we're talking about the 80s here.
Well, I thought there was something to do with him coming out, and he didn't like who he was going to go to or
So
something.
he went and played
So he went and
baseball?
played baseball, and then he came out in the NFL a couple years later.
Yeah, because, I mean, obviously,
I feel like
he
it.
skipped the first couple years of football.
Here it is. I got it. Bo Jackson was taken with the first overall pick in the 1986 draft by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, but he refused to play for them.
Okay.
And he went and played baseball.
It doesn't say, but I assume so. Let me see if I can find it.
Yeah, I thought there was something to do with the draft. Yeah, back then the Buccaneers were,
Yeah, they weren't great.
and that was like where Steve Young was riding away at. Maybe at that. Well, was that? That might have been before Steve. Well, maybe not. I don't know.
By the way, we're talking about a 3-sport All-American in college. Is that not fucking ridiculous?
3-sport?
Base. He also ran track.
Oh, yeah.
What
Okay.
was the All-American in?
I don't know. I just said it on here. I'm reading an article. I didn't like break it down.
You want to hear a funny story about baseball?
What's that?
My friend Robert, his dad Dan, he had a buddy that went to Auburn, I think, or knew a friend, I think, that went to Auburn and played baseball. Freshman year, didn't really get to play. Sophomore year, a little bit. Junior year, backup. Senior year, he's going to get to play. I think it's outfield, right? I don't remember exactly, but he's going to get to play in the outfield his senior year. It was his time. Till this freshman comes on the team, Bo Jackson. So he doesn't get to play.
Yeah.
Sucks.
So he was drafted number 1 overall after refusing to show up to the combine. He said, "I'm the best player in the draft. Why should I go try out?" So they offered him a 5-year, $5 million contract. He turned it down and went and played baseball. And then the following year, the Raiders drafted him in the 7th round with pick 185, and he decided to play with them.
Wow. Okay. And I think he's the one that there's another just story about him that I always thought was funny. I think he was raised by his mom, and somebody asked her one time how she kept him in line or something, and he told her that from the time he was little, she couldn't catch him, and she said, "That's fine, but you can't outrun a 38." So Bo behaved.
It's pretty gangster.
It is. It is.
Mama Jackson wasn't messing around.
Yeah.
That's right. She was keeping her boy out of trouble. And she raised a good son. He was a great athlete.
And he seems, for all intents and purposes, he seems to be a really nice guy, too.
Yeah, he does.
He does.
I mean, I think his mom did a great job.
I know I might have missed this, but isn't he one of the ones that doesn't he run on a wall
Yes.
at some point?
In the with
Yeah.
the Royals.
Yeah.
It's an amazing, just and grace. I mean, not jump on it and fall off.
I mean, he runs and
ran
then
up,
comes
caught the
down.
ball and ran back down.
He just did things that were just. There's this author that came out with a book. It's just nothing but Bo Jackson stories. And it came out just a couple years ago, and I'm trying to remember the guy's name. Because he went on, I think it was like Rich Eisen show a while back and was talking about it and told like 3 or 4 different Bo Jackson stories, and they were really fascinating. And I listened to the stories that he told on the show, but he came out with like an entire book about it.
Drew and I are watching Him run up the wall.
He runs like 5 steps on it. Makes it look effortless.
I know, it's nuts.
The other thing that I take away from it, though, is just how ripped he looks in his baseball uniform.
Yeah.
He looks huge.
His quads are gigantic. Of course, he was famous for snapping bats, with his hands.
Yeah.
Like breaking them with his hands. So,
When you type in Bo Jackson's 40-yard dash, it's 4.13.
yeah.
Yeah, he ran a 4-1.
Like, that's just nuts.
And nobody's even gotten close to that.
Who the hell runs a 4.1?
Here, ready?
Ooh.
Who's close to 4-1?
Let's see. Who all has the fastest times? Well, no one's really close to a
He didn't
4.1.
struggle.
But I think the people that have the fastest ones in history are like Chris Johnson?
Yeah, Chris Johnson ran a 4.
Well, that
John Ross
receiver-
ran a 4.21, but I think Chris Johnson's like 4.22.
Right, yeah.
Oh,
That's been the combine record is like 4.21.
Yeah, that's the combine record. Yeah, 'cause
Jackson.
Bo didn't go to the combine.
Yeah, he
So-
ran a 4.13.
Yeah,
I've got the list pulled up. I'm scrolling to the top spots here. Hold on. All right, number 1 is John Ross at 4.22, and then you have Chris Johnson at 4.24. I don't even know who this kid is. Dre Archer, 4.26, running back out of Kent State. Jerome Mathis, wide receiver out of Hampton, 4.26. Marquise Goodwin, somebody we actually know, 4.27. Stanford Route, 4.27. Tyrone Calico, 4.27.
Is there anybody we know on the list?
Jalen
Tyrone.
Myrick, JJ Nelson, Jacoby Ford, and Fabian Washington.
Okay.
Those are the 11 fastest times at the combine.
Sound like a bunch of special teamers to me.
Yeah.
All right, well, this has been kind of not as great as a conversation I thought it was going to be, but this is a long episode, so we can wrap it up. We appreciate you tuning in for this wide receiver episode, and we would appreciate you tuning in next week for our change of topic to baseball, our Yankees Mount Rushmore. I think it's going to be a fun episode. We'll start it off with a bang with the Yankees. I think it's going to be an interesting one. A team with lots of Hall of Famers, lots of different eras. Be a great talking point. So tune in for that one.
And a team that you love so very much.
Exactly. Please rate, subscribe, email, comment.
Sports the NEMO Way at gmail.com.
And thanks for tuning in to Sports the NEMO Way.